Ministries, departments and agencies stormed the National Assembly to defend their 2014 budget proposals, and more questions as the National Assembly tries to find answers to the $20 billion allegedly unremitted by the NNPC. Ablinda Akibe, and you're welcome to the Gavel. The National Assembly is still observing its break from plenary as standing committees of the National Assembly met with relevant ministries, departments and agencies on the 2014 appropriation bill. The lawmakers also made out time to look into the kerosene subsidy and the $20 billion allegedly unremitted by the NNPC. Let's begin with a report on the budget defense exercise that is ongoing in the National Assembly.
Ministries and agencies of government have continued to flood the National Assembly to defend their 2014 budgets before their respective committees. The Chief of Defense Staff appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on Defense for the 2014 budget defense. The chairman of the House Committee on Defense said the committee is concerned and sought to know if there is a need for a change in strategy in the fight against the insurgents.
But I'm still concerned to know from you, the CDS, whether there is this inter-service synergy. The atmosphere is conducive for you to continue the fight the way it is, or you need a change of strategy for the JTF to resurface, even if for a period of time, to check some of those issues that I have highlighted before. That will not continue to see the bad news we are seeing every day on the press. Even though in the last 2 days, we have also a mixed bag of information that your men have also been able to make some milestones. That is what we want to hear every day on the papers.
How the government doing? They don't join in propaganda, they don't join in doing anything. We just want to allow military to go out there and go and do the fight. So if this committee has agreed that it is not for the military, that it is for Nigeria, I believe the press, you would help us, because the press is part of this war. If every day all the press will be reporting is something negative about, we are not seeing praise about what we are doing, then how do you want us to do the fight?
Officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also appeared before the House Committee on Foreign Affairs. The minister pointed out the huge reduction in the overhead cost of the ministry, which he says has dire consequences.
There has been a huge reduction in the ministry's 2014 overhead budget as proposed, as against the 2013 approved budgets. For instance, in the 2014 budget proposal, headquarters overhead budget proposal of $5 billion is less than the 2013 approved budget of $6 billion by $1.48 billion. This is grossly inadequate to meet our key activities in 2014. In addition, there has been a reduction in the overhead budget of our overseas missions for 2014, again compared to that of last year.
This issue also came up when the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory appeared before the Committee on FCT. The minister said the budget given to the capital city is inadequate and could lead to abandoned projects.
Certainly we have a lot of challenges that we'll later discuss with you. It has to do with budgetary provision. It is very country, and as you rightly observed, we will not be able to finish it. But certainly in the same manner that we try to bring innovation and creativity to finish our project, we are looking at the option of PPP, because even the Federal Ministry of Culture has approached us and they are putting investors from South Africa, but there are legal issues involved because there is a subsisting contract on procurement. But there are so many organizations outside the country that are trying to take over the project from where it is and complete it, because it is a bankable and a profitable venture that has to do so many facilities like hotels, museums, and others, and that will generate revenue.
The Director General of the Budget Office, however, defended the stance of the executive. Appearing before the Committee on Appropriation, the Director General said government agencies have been advised to focus on completing existing projects instead of starting new ones.
We say to them that attention and effort priority must be given to completing ongoing projects. So you need to put enough resources into ongoing projects, including ones that may have been started with whatever guise or name. Whether they started with the ministry or it's part of constituency project or whatever it is, it's already there in the budget and should be given that priority to bring it to conclusion and to exit. We don't always succeed, but we try very, very hard. This is why we have the bilateral discussions with MDA, each and every one of them. We host for about 3 weeks period before rounding up the budget to argue over exactly this same issue. So I'm going to answer this question also in relation to the abandonment of project. That please, we also need you to support us in this particular thing as we do it. It's in the call circular, it's in our bilateral discussions and conversations that we have with them. And at the end of the day, we may end up seeing that new contracts, new projects that are introduced when you have an existing one 2 or 3 years standing, not yet 100% funded. So that is a major reason that you find this particular instance. There is no economy where you're going to have 100% availability of resources to meet all the things that the various MDAs would like to have in the budget. There's none. Not in America, because we know the story in those countries, and not in the European Union. It's always a balancing act.
Other agencies that were in the National Assembly include the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, which appeared before the House Committee on Anti-Corruption, while the Senate Committee on Water Resources also met with the Ministry of Water Resources.
Have you ever had a situation where you are looking for answers but keep ending up with more questions? Well, that appears to be the case in the ongoing investigation being conducted by the Senate Committee on Finance into billions of dollars allegedly unremitted by the NNPC. This was the fourth and final public hearing of the Senate Committee on Finance investigating the accusation by the suspended CBN Governor Sanusi Lamido that the NNPC failed to remit $49.8 billion into the Federation account. After a series of reconciliations between the CBN, NNPC, Finance and Petroleum Ministries, Mr. Sanusi Lamido reversed the figure to $20 billion. But the NNPC and the Petroleum Minister earlier admitted that $10.8 billion was unremitted into the Federation account and provided details of how the $10.8 billion was gulped by subsidy on petroleum products, crude oil, and product losses. The Finance Minister had said the NNPC has produced documents to support its claim of the shortfall of $10.8 billion, but emphasized that there is a need for a forensic audit as the Ministry of Finance lacked the capacity and expertise to guarantee the authenticity of the documents. But at Thursday's hearing, the Auditor General of the Federation says the Constitution has tied the hands of his office from auditing the NNPC.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, which says, Section 2, that is 85 of Section 2 says, nothing in this Section 2 of this section shall be construed as authorizing the Auditor General to audit the accounts of or appoint auditors for government, statutory corporations, commissions, authorities, agencies, including persons and bodies established by the Act of the National Assembly. But the Auditor General shall provide such bodies with a list of auditors qualified to be appointed by them as external auditors, and from which the bodies shall appoint their external auditors, and guidelines. Going by subsection 3 of Section 85, the Auditor General cannot do a forensic audit of NNPC. What we are doing there is, according to Section 4, a periodic check.
There, however, remains an outstanding $6 billion, which the NNPC says it paid to the NPDC, and another $2 billion for third-party financing. But at this hearing, the The NNPC had difficulty explaining how much exactly was paid from the $2 billion to the Federation account and the beneficiaries from the third-party financing.
1.3, 1.4 plus 1. We're back to 2.43 years.
But some went to third parties, some went to Federation account, according to you.
Yes.
Now take out what went to Federation account. What will remain?
Exactly. That's what we're saying in this case is we are going into the second level explanation of the detailed waterfall of each. And I gave an example of the domestic crude, for instance. The total amount in the domestic crude was accounted for in the first level of the reconciliation. Thereafter, more questions were asked by your committee, and the details of the dynamics of this is what we are now providing.
The simple arithmetic here does not add up either way. Whether you talk of the amount that went to Federation account, you won't get 2 billion. If you talk of the amount that goes to third party, you won't get 2 billion. Either way you look at it, based on what you have submitted here.
The NNPC boss afterwards shed more light on the issue.
Yes, we captured 2 billion, but we are seeing clearly in our details that it was actually $2.4 billion, and a substantial part of it has gone back to the Federation account. The governance structure of the third-party financing is what we'll take back to see how we can have a detailed explanation to the distinguished committee to see how the third-party financing governance is done, the escrow account system, and then and how it is managed from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. So when you borrow money from the bank or any financial institution, you have a governance structure that you adhere to. And when you have an escrow account, that means you're going to have some money trapped somewhere until the end of the obligation.
With the question of a $2 billion still left unanswered, the committee has asked the companies involved in the third-party agreement, Total and Mobil, to present documents to show how much they each received from this arrangement from January 2012 to July 2013.